Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, and we have a little follow-up, a callback, if you will, really, on the call by the Commonwealth for Britain to pay 200 billion in reparations for the Atlantic slave trade, which, of course, we're not going to do. It's never really going to happen. A, we don't have it, and B, if we did it, we'd have to ask for the money back for the cost of ending the slave trade, which would be significant. Plus, we get all that money from the Italians for the Romans, and we get all that money from the Norwegians for the Vikings, and we can probably tap the Germans for a bit when the Angles and the Jutes came across. Hey, there's lots of them, and yes, I know the Jutes were Danish, but anyway, there's lots of them. We've been invaded so many times, we're in for a big windfall, aren't we? Hey, anyway, it's been claimed by one of the ministers responsible that the issue of reparations is not on the agenda. Now, I like the way they phrase that. It's not on the agenda. It doesn't mean that they're rejecting it. It doesn't mean they're denying it. It doesn't mean that they're saying it's never going to happen. It's just not on the agenda for this meeting. What do we make of that, children? Because unless they say yes or no, the answer is the other thing, isn't it? By the weasel words, not on the agenda, does not take it off any future negotiations. And we know that Queer Keir does like to bend the knee, often too, but usually bend the knee to whoever is complaining because he's a very weak man, very spineless jellyfish, who will, give up straight away, wave that white flag of surrender. He's not one to fight the good fight. And so while it's, quote, not on the agenda, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. The official line is here. When asked what the government's official position would be at the summit, Starmer's spokesperson said, just to be clear, reparations are not on the agenda for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. And secondly, the government's position on this has not changed. We do not pay reparations. Well, that's bullshit, because yes, they have. The government has many times, and indeed we're about to with the Chagos Islands. We're handing the islands back, and we're paying lots and lots of money to people who don't live there and never have lived there to go and live there, while we're handing it back to a country that never owned it in order to allow our enemies, China, to stand on that land and look over the border into a US military base. Let me tell you, the American military are not entirely happy. But money has been handed over, and we've handed money over many, many times. So for them to say we do not pay reparations is clearly bollocks, as indeed is this claim that not being on the agenda is an end to it. Deary, deary me. Now, Starmer is flying off to Samoa because he just wants to travel a lot at public expense, and, why not? And so he's going to be there at the Commonwealth meeting at a time, incidentally, just as an aside, that a lot of people in Australia are sort of having a go at the king because he's king. They don't like it. I don't know if Australia will go independent and say, well, they're already independent. That's a stupid thing to say. We'll go as a republic and say we don't need an unelected head of state. It's up to them. I don't care either way. I do think it's ultimately going to happen, but when is up to them. But so you're having a lot of repercussions, a lot of issues with the Commonwealth. I think it's really time to basically tell the Commonwealth, look, you're all grown up, sod off. We don't need them. The Commonwealth are just dragging on our coattails now. It's not as though we're in charge of anything anymore. Let them go. Let's just cut the ties with them. Let's treat them as grown up independent countries. It's not the days of empire anymore. But he gets his little thing. He goes there because he wants to have Samoa power. So more samosa, I think, than Samoa. Anyway, and all his claims are going to come in. And if he doesn't say no, then he's going to do it. And he hasn't said no. He refuses to say no. So I think we might well end up paying these things. The thing is now, the Church of England is pledging to pay money, but the Church of England never invaded anybody. They want to put together a £1 billion fund. How can the Church of England afford that? They're always pleading poverty. Sell Lambeth Palace, sell the sell all the cathedrals. You get a lot of money for them. It's fine. You might as well. The fastest growing religion in this country now is atheism. The Church of England is just a garden party club, isn't it? It's where the middle class go to pretend that they like God. Religion is dying on its arse because people are growing up. We don't need gods to tell us how rainbows work anymore. So if all these people want to give their own personal money over, fine, let them. Don't care. But don't give a single penny belonging to me. Don't give any taxpayers' money away. Because we don't owe them anything. We don't owe them a brass farthing. I've never owned a slave. Why should I be paying for it? I've never benefited. I was never a landowner. I've never done this. I've never done that. If you want to go after private individuals, please, feel free. But countries, nah. Be a war. And if this government signed up to pay 200 billion to all these little countries, there'd have to be a very brave man to do it. I don't think Starmer would do it because I don't think Starmer's brave enough, but he's weak enough, and that is what is truly, truly frightening. But why should we? Why should we? Name one benefit. None at all. The people who've benefited, of course, are the Africans who aren't African anymore. The ones that are living in the West, the ones that have benefited for not living on the continent of Africa. Their lives are infinitely better because of it. They can't accept it. Do you know David Lammy is up for it? Because of course he is. David Lammy, our Foreign Secretary, he wants Britain to pay the 200 billion. Well, we can start with your salary, Lammy. Take your house, sell that, sell everything you own, leave you on the street because you've benefited and you were never a slave. Your family came here from Africa. Tell me, when were you ever a slave? You weren't. You've benefited from this country. In fact, you've benefited more from this country than people in this country have benefited from this country. So Lammy needs to shut his big fat gob. You don't get that fat, Lammy, from being poor, do you? Huh? You'll be a lot thinner if you're in Africa. But that's what it is. Why are these people so pushy? It's all to do with its destruction again, isn't it? Destruct the West. Well, screw them. Time is over, but he's not denying it, and that's the important thing. No denial. Thanks very much. Speak soon. Take care, and ruminate on that. They don't deny. Bye.